Hello again, I'm Jay Hicks with Gerald Properties, and welcome back to Reviving Goolricks. So far in our video chronology of the work we're doing to restore this old landmark back to its former glory, we've covered the structure repairs that we've had to conduct. We've looked at some of the details of the sign, of the windows, the doors. We've even taken a closer look at some of the artifacts that we've been able to find and curate and collect. Today we're going to take a little bit more personal journey into the history of Goolricks, and so today we're joined by Jacqueline Rohrer, formerly Rector, formerly married to Charles Rector, longtime pharmacist down at Goolricks. And thank you, Ms. Rohrer, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about you and your husband, and generally what you got to experience at Goolricks.
I guess I'm starting a generation before with Charles Parsons Rector, who was born 1901 in Haymarket. And after he finished pharmacy school, his first job was at Goolricks. In 1926, he married Mary Frances Tompkins, a local girl, whose father had been a doctor, Dr. James Edward Tompkins. It was in 1933 that they purchased Goolricks from the Goolrick family. It was purchased by the Mr. and Ms. Rector and her brother, Robert Tompkins. There were many problems with floods. Then, of course, in the 60s and 70s, all the big stores left downtown. And it was a really questionable time as to whether downtown Fredericksburg would survive.
The time that you and your husband spent with Goolricks really saw some peaks and valleys for downtown Fredericksburg, some of the best of times where I know my parents talked about how much time they spent and enjoyed downtown in the 50s and 60s, to a little bit of the turn of the economy and some of the strifes that we had in the 1970s, which had those impacts on downtown Fredericksburg, and you guys had the front row seat.
It was a time that a lot of people had invested money in buildings downtown, and all of a sudden they were vacant, and they didn't have the income from the rent. And all of a sudden Goolricks was for sale, the building. Sure. And it was sold, you probably know, to Mr. Grigsby, I believe, who was in the refrigeration business. That's familiar. And then he died very shortly, a couple of years later, I think.
That's right.
And so then my husband and I bought it from the Grigsby estate. Is
there anything you can tell us about the operation of the pharmacy or the soda fountain that was particularly a good memory of yours?
Well, I think the main thing is there were very loyal customers at Goolricks, and the help was really great. They were very dedicated, and a lot of the people at the fountain stayed there, worked for years there.
No, that's part of what I was telling you earlier, the response that we've gotten to reaching out and asking for memories of Goolricks, and they've been patrons, they've been customers that remember coming with their grandchildren, going with their grandparents, and then so many people that were related to your help at the lunch counter in particular that recalled their family members really relishing their opportunity to be there and work with you all.
So, and as I say, my husband, even though he worked long hours, was very involved with the community. Mm-hmm. And he was, as I say, on the Fredericksburg Stafford Park Authority when they developed two of the parks anyway.
Two significant parks in our area.
Yeah.
Yeah, so which ones did he work on?
On St. Clair Brooks and Old Mill Park.
Two parks that we really use a lot today.
Yeah.
So he was a part of the original committee that brought that together?
You know what years, but he was very involved in that, and very involved with the Virginia Pharmaceutical Association. Okay. Of course, headquarters in Richmond. Spent many hours with working on that because pharmacy was very important to him, and he really always had very high standards.
Well, I think that showed, and again, what we were talking about, the loyalty of those that depended on you all to provide that medicine when it counted. Without question. Did you all realize the importance that Goolrick served in our community?
Probably not. But as I say, my husband felt very strongly he wanted it to continue as a pharmacy, and he could see things changing in the. But I think he would be pleased to know that it is being preserved at this point.
A big part of the memories for the customers of Goolrick's over the decades is the lunch counter, and enjoying the simple menu, if you will, the egg salad, the tuna salad, the ham and cheese with a soda pop and maybe a milkshake.
Those working at the lunch counter got there early in the morning to cook the chickens, to make chicken salad.
Oh, wow.
A lot of the things they made themselves, the ingredients for the sandwiches.
They took a lot of pride in what they were serving. Yeah. Well, we hope we're going to be able to replicate that a little bit as well. People are excited about that menu.
And then, of course, Steve bought the business in 1990. I sold it probably in 1995. I remember the Christmas parades downtown, and people just swarmed to watch the parade. And of course, then they wanted to get warm, so they went into the drugstore. Right. And many times we wondered if that floor would stand.
Oh, well, that's a funny thought now. Well, but we had some wonders about that, but that's another thing that we spent a lot of time making sure that we could have a lot of people standing on that floor. There were also known to be a couple businesses on the second floor. Did you guys get to know the ladies that ran the hosiery shop or the hat shop up there?
Connie's hat shop was there first, and then Mary's hosiery. They're the two I remember. I don't know.
Yeah, those are the only two that I'm aware of as well.
But I know many years before, those apartments were, the apartment upstairs, I guess, was rented. Okay. And I think my mother-in-law and father-in-law lived there for a while after they first married. So
in 1992, I believe was the year George Bush was running for president and made a somewhat famous stop in front of Goolrick's for a little promotion of his campaign. Do you remember that time, and did you get to be involved in any of the festivities?
I was downtown. I remember seeing it, but it was pretty fast. He was there and gone.
Okay. Now, you guys owned the building at the time. Did you have any interactions with any of his security detail?
We did not, and we were surprised when we looked up and saw the Secret Service on the roof.
Well, that's another scary moment too then, and we weren't sure if the roof could hold them up there either. In all the times that you and your husband owned Goolrick's, did you ever spend any time working in the pharmacy or the lunch counter?
Never the lunch counter.
Okay, all right.
But I did work in the back of the pharmacy the last few years that he owned. My children got to work at the pharmacy, except one son was playing football, tennis, anything, I think.
Just to avoid it?
But he didn't like to be down there.
Oh my goodness. Well, Ms. Rohrer, this has been a true pleasure to be with you and hear of your stories, of your time with Goolrick's, with you and your husband, and we thank you a lot for joining us today.
Thank you.
Well, I feel like I've heard this phrase before. I might be making some of it up, but something along the lines of you can't get to where you're going unless you learn a little bit about where you've come from. And today I think we did a little bit of that with Ms. Rohrer, Ms. Rector, and what a pleasure it was to visit with her and have her share some of her stories and some of her life, really, that she lived with her husband downtown Fredericksburg at Goolrick's. So with that knowledge and with that added spirit that we've been given today, we're going to keep on working away downtown and hopefully getting that Goolrick's door open soon. So keep coming back and visit us here for these videos, and we'll keep sharing them with you. And until then, we'll see you next time here on Reviving Goolricks.
Please follow us on all our socials to stay up to date with the latest happenings.